What is up? What is up? I am Axl Cones. Welcome to another episode of the Cone Zone TV show. I've got a lot to cover tonight. So without further ado, let's get right to it. As we do every week, Jay Anthony, my buddy Jay Anthony from Beautiful Distractions Modeling, sends us beautiful girls. Tonight is no exception. Yeah. Would you help me welcome Linda McQuaid? Linda, have a seat. Wow. Actually, no, stand up. Do a quick spin. You gotta see this. All right. Holy cow. All right. How are you?
I am fantastic. How about you?
I am peachy. We were talking before the show tonight. How long have you been with Jay Anthony?
Only a couple months now. I started at the end of June. I've been modeling for a year now, and I really need to get the exposure. And he hit me up, and he's great. I love it.
Isn't he the greatest guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very cool. Now, how old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Wow, 19 years old. Very cool. So you've been modeling have you done a shoot with Jay Anthony yet?
I have.
And the pictures all ready to roll?
Fabulous. They're great.
Cool.
Like,
Maybe
one of the best shoots I've ever had, so I highly recommend them for any of you.
Maybe we'll pull some out and we'll put some on while we're doing the interview. We'll flash a few up there. How's that sound?
If you can get them, sure.
Oh, trust me, I can get them.
All right, sounds good.
As long as you don't mind the world seeing your goodie.
I'm ready for it.
I like her. I like her so much. So cool. Are you single? You married? You dating?
I am dating my best friend.
Oh, okay.
And it's been great. He just asked me out 2 nights ago, so he finally had the balls to say, Linda, I want to be with you, and we're together.
Well, very cool. My girlfriend and I started out as friends before we started dating, too. How long have you guys known each other?
4 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. So you guys were like high school sweethearts?
Exactly.
Oh, very cool.
It's great.
Very cool. Very cool. Are you on like MySpace, Facebook, all that good stuff?
I am.
What's your address?
Just look me on Facebook, Linda McQuaid, or on MySpace, I'm Linda, or call me Mrs. Lautner. I'm a big Taylor Lautner fan.
Oh, who's that?
You don't know who Taylor Lautner is?
No. Who's that?
Guy from Eclipse, like the hottest man ever.
Except he's gay.
He's not gay. He's going to marry me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so there you go, Kelly. Step back.
Did your best friend know that?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, man.
Very cool. Anything else you want to talk about before we get rolling?
I'm a biology major. I want to go to medical school one day because helping people is the best thing you can do, and it's great, and I'm a dork. I love anatomy. So you'll be seeing me on magazine covers and operating on you, so better treat me right.
There you go. Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. Anything else you want to say before we get rolling?
I'm just glad to be on the show, and thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you here. It's great to have you here. Linda McQuaid, give it up. All right. No, hang out. You can hang out with me. Hang out with me.
Okay.
Go ahead and have a seat. There you go. All right. Before I bring Mr. Barry Fey up once again, I have a special monologue that we are going to do for Barry tonight. The topic tonight, am I getting old?
Yep. Hey, watch it.
No. Birthdays. Last week, I was downtown doing some promotional work, so I decided to grab a bite to eat for lunch. I stood next to the hostess table and waited for a table to open up. I couldn't help overhearing the conversation between the 2 young girls. The line that sent me rocking back and forth in the fetal position in the cuckoo's nest was, "Oh my God, that really gross old guy in like his 20s would not stop hitting on me Friday." Her fellow greeter followed that up with, when Leonard Skinner's Sweet Home Alabama came on over the restaurant sound system, quote, "Ugh, I'm so sick of hearing that KFC song." I couldn't...
I get it.
You get it? That's awesome. I couldn't help myself but to ask one of the little Hannah Montanas out of curiosity what year she was born. After she looked me up and down with that disgusted, "Get away from me, you child predator," she responded with 1992. Dear God, I graduated high school 3 years before she was even born. So I took that disturbing nugget to my lunch table, where I overheard two white guys at the next table who flipped their hats sideways and who wore the Pakistani fake gold chains while trying to pass them off as real. Quote, "Yo, that bitch who's chilling at the crib is banging, yo." After 20 minutes, I couldn't take any more of this racial confusion gibberish, so I had my waitress box up the rest of my food as I had visions of beating these two jagoffs with a rubber hose dancing around in my head. As I was paying my check, the realization hit me. Is it true? Am I getting old? Forgive me, but I have to throw my 2 cents in here. I remember the day the family and I celebrated my 36th birthday, and my father pulling me aside and telling me, "You know, you're closer to 40 now than you are 30. Now, I could have taken that comment and fallen into some Pee Wee Herman at the porn theater and the arcade booths are closed for cleaning depression. But instead, I did the opposite. To this day, I like to compare my life to other people at or around my age. Now, as for me, I've never been married or had any kids. Now, I know the bitter married masses must be thinking, okay, what's wrong with him? Well, a lot. But if you must know, oh nosy one, the reason I never married or reproduced was I thought I'd have fun instead. Marriage and kids didn't sound that appealing to me. Besides, life's too short being berated by the nagging bitch from hell because you didn't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to clean up baby throw up and diarrhea. And the first football Sunday honey-do list would have sent me to the divorce lawyer faster than when Larry King's new bride's ether wears off. To me, there's nothing more pathetic or funny, depending on how you look at it, at the 40-year-old guy who's been married for 20 of it. Now, don't get me wrong, I applaud those of you who stayed with one person, even though the last head you'd received, Culture Club, was playing on your car cassette player.
I love that song.
I love you so much. It's awesome. And I'm sure it seemed like a good idea at the time, being 18 or 19 and marrying the hoochie who you knocked up at your prom. Let's fast forward 20 years, shall we? You now have 3 kids who are in and out of jail more than Brandon Marshall on a bender. Your hot new wife from 1990 now has an ass the size of a small country. And every time your behemoth couch cow, stay-at-home mom breaks a fingernail, chocolate pours out. Now, I hate to be the one to point this out, but unhappy, undersexed married people are as easy to spot as the Shrek look-alike who choked his chicken during his lunch hour in ESPN Zone's bathroom where they were showing reruns of the high school cheerleading championships. Thank you. Unlike so many balding, overweight, middle-aged guys, I'm proud to say I don't need the Corvette, the Hummer, or the sagging pants to try to convince everyone how cool I think I still am. If you do, then more power to you. Loser. Just don't clown on me because you got Jedi mind-tricked into wasting your precious youth on someone who would later become Jabba the Hutt, and now that gravity is kicked in, needs a crane just to get her off the reinforced toilet. I guess a nicer way of saying it would be, you shit the bed like a paraplegic who drank a gallon of prune juice, so you wallow in it, all right? And look on the bright side. You'll be in the pine box in 40 years, and it'll all be over. One of the things I'm learning about myself the older I get, in case you haven't noticed, my patience is shorter than a Chinaman's weenie after getting out of the swimming pool in the dead of winter. There are days where I bite my tongue more than someone eating now and laters with a mouthful of Novocaine. Not a day goes by where someone or something doesn't annoy the living piss out of me. Because my annoyance list is too long to mention here, let me just say, if you're doing something moronic and I give you my death to you stare, it's probably a good idea that you shut your cake hole and get the hell out of my sight. And for those of you who whined to me over the years when your name appeared in one of my monologues, all I can say is, quit doing stupid shit then, asshole. Another thing I'm finding out, my tastes are changing more than a hypochondriac with a permanent head cold. When I was 15, I loved the movie Porky's. I laughed and laughed and masturbated and laughed some more. So when I saw it was on cable the other day, I sat down to watch it. I sat stone-faced, as I couldn't believe I wasted 90 precious minutes of my life watching this crap. Someone recently told me you're only as young as you feel. Well, that's a great piece of advice. Now, Confucius says, go practice safe sex and fuck yourself. I feel 15 years younger than I actually am, but that doesn't mean I can walk into the Coyote Ugly Club in Vegas and pick up Shannon Elizabeth. Okay, poly-positive? And I love Sex and the City and some of these other fogey publications who claim that 40 is the new 30. Please stop with this nonsense already. But to be fair, I guess I can see where they're going with that. Let me respond to that idiotic message by saying, if your erection lasts longer than 4 hours, seek immediate medical attention. Am I on the right track? Unless you're Dick Clark, the aches, pains, bags, and wrinkles that come with being 40 scream out to everyone that you're fucking 40, okay? I don't know too many 30-year-olds who, as they're getting out of bed in the morning, their joints pop and creak like someone lighting black cats on the staircase in Molly Brown's house. Now, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I look decent for being almost 40.
You do.
Exactly, thank you. behind the camera over there. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no Jim Rome, but I'm no Jason Alexander either. I've seen guys my age who resemble Mr. Roper with a hangover. I've heard numerous people over the years tell me that it's a young man's world, and once you knock on 40's door, you're considered over the hill. I used to scoff at that crap. Then as time went on, I started to think more and more about it. Perhaps there is something to it. I can remember when I was in my 20s, I used to walk into any bar, any club, anywhere, at any time, and pick up any girl that I wanted for the night. Then after 2 hours and optional first name exchanges, we'd be humping like two rabbits locked in a small cage. Now when I walk into a nightclub, I get that pathetic dad chaperoning his teenage daughter to her first date look. Every now and then I like to put the young man's world theory to the test. Last summer I went to Elitch's, and the 20-year-old rent-a-cop approached me and asked me if I needed help finding the bathroom or anything. So I responded with, all these young hooligan whippersnappers make the world so scary when I'm out here on my own. Then, as I was winding my foot up to put up his little Paul Blart ass, he got another call on his walkie-talkie. I recently went to some one-named downtown hotspot hole on a Saturday night with some friends, whatever night it was. As we waited in line outside to get in, I was in awe looking at all the assembly line clones who dressed and smelled the same. As we stood there, a group of girls joined us in the back of the line. As we all waited to get into the club that in 6 months will be as dead as Andy Dick's career and will have to reopen under a new name, I turned to a girl in the group and, not looking to get into her pants or anything, but simply said, "How you doing?" She rolled her eyes, sucked her teeth, jammed her talk to the hand palm in my face, threw out a whatever before turning her back and taking out her cell phone. I'm guessing to call the perv police to have me beaten like a desperate Rodney King. At the time, I shrugged it off as just a bitch being a bitch. Besides, I'm guessing about 20 years ago, as this future stuck-up skank was sleeping in her crib, in the other room, I violated her mother like a new prison inmate during the Sodomize the New Fish Olympics. Have I?
Nice.
Boy, look at the stunned faces. I love it. Have I reached a point in my life where I'm not hip enough just to have a simple conversation with wannabe Paris Hiltons? Have I turned into the creepy old guy that 20-somethings go home and blast in a tweet to their friends? Am I not one of the cool kids because I don't have my pants pulled down, exposing my SpongeBob SquarePants boxers? Have I become a square because I'm not tattooed up like Sully Erna and have so many face piercings that I look like a blind guy who fell down the stairs of a fishing lure store? Am I not part of the in crowd as I don't smoke 2-foot Bob Marley joints and chug alcohol like Lindsay Lohan when she didn't get invited to the Teen Choice Awards? Well, all right, maybe I am Dr. Francis B. Gross in a Megan Fox world, and the only club I'm not treated like a desperate, horny degenerate in is Cy Sperling's Hair Club for Men. Maybe these slurping Jell-O shots out of the cleavage of the club slut times have passed me by. But you know what? I'm okay with that. But as Captain Obvious points out, if I had 8 figures in the bank, yeah, I'd get more attention than a supermodel at a swingers club. I'd see more ass than a midget walking around at a crowded nude beach. Delayed reactions. Okay, I gotta slow down, I guess. Here. But as it stands right now, I refuse to stick my dick inside or even talk to somebody who sounds like an airhead retard, whatever, right? My IQ just dropped 40 points. The major concern the older you get is how and when you're gonna die. Personally, I don't sweat it. I could get creamed by the drunk driver on my way home from the show tonight, or it could be in 60 years when my nurse is changing my pee bag and some Top Gun reject 9/11's the nursing home. Either way, when it's your time, it's your time. The important thing to remember is if you were to die tonight, would you be happy with the legacy you left behind? Personally, I have to say, yeah, no complaints. However, there is one thing that I failed to accomplish. Wilt Chamberlain has a record that I wanted, and 100 points in a basketball game isn't it. Somebody in the hall got that. That's good. I love it. Many people believe in reincarnation. You know, if I were to come back, I'd like to come back as some type of royalty, or at the very least, being the highest paid entertainer who talks about shriveled Chinese penises. But I have a feeling it's in the karma cards that I'll come back as a baby hamster loose at Pride Fest.
Oh, God.
So let me wrap.
Thanks for reminding us.
You're welcome. So let me wrap this up by asking who or what determines how old you are? Is it the number of candles on your cake or the people around you telling you to take as much time as you need before you blow them out? Do you get to decide how old you want to be at that particular moment? Or should we listen to the media who claims that as soon as we grow our first curly, we should be shotgun blasted like a rabid old yeller? My girlfriend's got the right idea. She stopped celebrating birthdays and recently celebrated her 10th anniversary of her 30th birthday, which is ironic because she doesn't look a day over 30 anyway. For those who aren't as lucky, you could go the Joan Rivers route and get so much plastic surgery that you squeak like a plastic love doll when you soap up in the shower. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I know my picking up 24-year-old hard bodies who I could bounce a quarter off their ass days are over. So when the time comes, I want someone to put me out of my misery the day I talk to the young cashier at King Soopers, and after she tells me my total, my oh my God, she's talking to me dick gets harder than a long division problem trying to be solved by Jessica Simpson. I want someone to pull the plug when I go Ronald Reagan and start eating that toilet paper that has that funky tasting melted chocolate bar on it. I want someone to put me in a senior living the day wait a minute, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, how I used to walk uphill to and from school both ways in the snow with no shoes. And somebody closed the damn door. You're trying to heat the whole outdoors? Now shut the hell up. I'm trying to watch the new episode of Walker, Texas Ranger that I recorded on beta last night. That's my take, but then again, what the hell do I know? Yeah. Thank you. Tonight, there are no good bands playing tonight around town. So what I'm going to take you back. We're going to relive a couple of bands that were on the show before. So let's take you out right now. We're going to take you to a clip that I recorded about 5-6 years ago. Let's take you out to Esovae, who did a hell of a job playing in studio about 5 years ago. When we come back, the legendary Barry Fey will join us once again. Let's go to Esovae. We'll be right back. Cool.
Comes before a stay. future. And in the end, it must be done this way. And this will hurt you. So close your eyes. And everything I am is revealed in the end. What comes before the singer? You have no idea. No clue. Now you know my plan. Yeah, that's right. You know exactly where you stand. You know everything.
All right. Oh, he is back. God, I love Esovae. Do you remember the band Esovae, local band? No. No? They were real good. Oh, Marilyn Taylor, one of the hottest singers you'll ever see. She's like incredible. I'll get you a tape.
Don't give me a Janice Joplin.
No, I wouldn't do that again.
You did
Barry
that
cussed
one.
me out for 10 minutes last time we were on the air, and I made that comment. Without further ado, he is back. It is an honor for me to have the greatest concert promoter of all time, Mr. Barry Fey, back with us. All right. The reason I brought the reason for the monologue is you just celebrated a birthday a couple weeks ago.
Did.
How was your
It
birthday?
was last Friday. It was one of the best I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one of the reasons, because I would never believe it. Facebook.
Facebook. Mm-hmm.
My birthday was Friday, a week ago Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I started getting messages on the Tuesday. And I woke up Friday morning. There was 278 messages waiting for me.
278 messages.
That was that day. And on Thursday, I tried to answer them all. Thank you. Thanks for your wishes. And I had to post something, listen to this, on my page. I've learned what that means. Saying, to all of you who have wished me so, I can no longer answer every one of you, but thank you and God bless you. And they just kept pouring on. I got a couple yesterday, people who just got in town. And I had you read them.
Yeah.
A couple of them made me cry. The one who said that Barry, God bless you, my father and I were estranged. We met at one of your concerts, and we've now bonded and we live I started crying.
That's very heartwarming. I mean,
so many like that. One young guy called me the OG of music.
The
in
OG.
Denver. The OG, man. But let me correct something you said.
yeah.
This Anthony guy with the models, he ain't the best guy. I'm the best guy.
Okay, there it is.
All right, let's get that straight.
There it is. You heard it right there.
No, but really, people threw a little party for me
That's very cool.
with a band that were still in middle school.
Oh, jeez.
And they brought up a copy of the Colorado Music Buzz magazine and asked me to autograph it. I said, you don't even know who I am. He said, oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah. Well, like I told, because Barry you called me a couple days after your birthday, and you go, you got to read some of these messages I'm getting. You won't believe it. I was reading some of these, and it was just incredible. And like I told you, we were talking on the phone a few days ago. You mean so much to Denver music. It's incredible. I mean, you have done so much for for the Colorado music scene that it's unfathomable to think about it.
And it's really hard for me. So I'll tell you why to believe it, because when you're doing things, Axl, that turned out in retrospect to be so cool,
Yeah.
you don't realize it at the time because you're working.
Right. Sure.
And there's that anxiety and the tension. You want everything to be right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when I read that stuff, I just really I got overwhelmed.
It chokes you up.
Yeah.
Almost 300 messages.
In
I
one
mean,
day, I was
In one day, 300 messages
a
in
total
one
of
day.
like
It was
600 over the 4 days.
That's incredible. I mean, and like I said, if somebody
I got one really strange one.
Oh,
but we'll
it's
get
great.
to her later.
From your assistant. From your
Yes,
assistant.
Yeah.
How long have you had your assistant? Crystal is her name. How long have you had your assistant?
Well, I officially met. You want to hear what she
Yeah,
writes?
absolutely.
She writes me on Facebook. Just when is it you're going to start paying attention to me? And I said, I don't know this person, but we met in a few days, and she started on Thursday,
Really?
and she's a delight.
Do you want to come up and say hi real quick? Come on up. Come on up. Give it up for Crystal. What camera are we on? So, you can talk loud. You'll pick up.
Well, look at her tattoos, though.
I was gonna say, I was looking at your tattoos. Those are pretty wild. Is that all you got? It's just right here?
No. She's got them on her legs and stuff. But
Yeah.
they're mostly rock and roll tattoos.
Rock and roll tattoos? Yes. Cool. The reason I brought you up is look what we're gonna do from Mr. Barry Fey.
Oh. See what I mean?
Happy
here?
birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Barry. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Now make a wish.
Hey, make a wish.
Oh. Those are fake cans.
And Barry, we also, like I said, we're gonna have cake later. And I'm sure I'm gonna get sent to the principal's office for lighting fire in here, but I don't care.
Where's she? Where's she? Anybody seen this woman?
That's the new CD. That's for you as well. And the
Okay.
card was signed by everybody here in the studio audience, my entire crew, and myself, to wish you a happy birthday,
Thank you
a
very
belated
much.
birthday. All right, very cool. And thank you for coming. Anything you want to say before we let you cut
No,
yours?
she has nothing to say.
I have nothing to say.
You have nothing to say. Give it up for Crystal. So cool. So what else do you want to talk about? What else do you want to talk about? We'll talk a little bit more about the music since we didn't cover quite as much as we wanted to last
No.
week. I wanted to ask you, of all the people you met, who was the biggest dick you ever met? Besides my camera guy right there.
No, we have a lot of the same tastes, actually. It would be a collective dick. It would be the whole crew around the Marshall Tucker Band.
Really?
From the tour manager to the road manager, who was an ex-con for manslaughter, to Doug Graves,
Right.
that I had to throw off the stage at Mile High Stadium. I mean, they were just mean. And what they did to Ronnie Van Zant, like that they tried to do, because Ronnie was the sweetest.
Yeah.
Well, you saw in that picture him playing football on my
Oh, yeah.
lawn. And then that night at Mile High, they were getting along so poorly that Ronnie had to close the quote-unquote first half of the show, and Marshall Tucker was going to close the last half. And Hart was the act before that, and their road manager went out and turned the power off on Hart after 3 songs. They were just bad guys.
That's terrible.
In fact, I went on the stage after the show and apologized to the people, saying, I'm very sorry you had to sit through 12 hours of this. And if I can afford to, I would like to give you your money back, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But they were the worst. I mean, most of the big guys are nice.
Right.
I mean, Keith, Mick,
Oh, sure.
yeah, Townsend, Bono, you know.
I hope Bono's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
One of the biggest dicks I ever met was, you ever met Dave Mustaine from Megadeth?
Yeah, but
Oh, what a cocksucker
he
this
was
guy
lucky
is.
to talk to me, man.
Oh, God, he was such a prick. I couldn't even believe it. We were backstage. We were at the, what show were we at? We were at Black Sabbath, backstage with Black Sabbath
Yeah.
when Ronnie came into town.
And Ozzy was a good guy.
I heard Ozzy's a real good guy, too.
Yeah, we were good
A little
friends,
slow,
yeah.
but...
Well, you put in your body what he put in his.
Yeah, exactly. He's lucky to be walking around, I guess.
But Keith ain't slow.
Yeah?
He's the best, man. He's the coolest guy in show business.
Is he the coolest guy you ever met?
No question.
Really?
No question. I mean, every movie he makes, like when he goes into his room takes his scarf off and tosses it over the lamp because he doesn't like light. When we went on, I don't know how many, do you want to get in stories?
Sure, absolutely. We got some time.
On the 5th anniversary, my ex-wife and I's 5th anniversary, the Stones took us out because they were in town to a place called Carmine's on Penn.
Right.
And we had the whole patio outside. And then after the dinner, I'm ready to go home, right? Keith says, we're going back to the suite and I'm gonna have a party. And I said, no, I think I'm gonna go home. My wife elbows me. Lisa, we're going to the suite. So when we get to the suite, there's a knife in the door with a note. Don't ever serve me room service like this. But Keith was, the second coolest guy is Lars Ulrich.
Really?
He is really cool.
See,
But Keith is the coolest.
I can't stand Lars Ulrich. I can't stand him.
Why?
After all that Napster stuff, it turned me. And when they said we just had a little microphone mishap. We were talking about Lars Ulrich before the break.
And you don't like him.
I don't like it. I thought
and you
they
have a
sold
right
out.
to your opinion, even though you're wrong. But he is a very cool guy. You remember the story we told last time about the Guns N' Roses Metallica show, and even though he embellishes it at the end, and I had to write that on my page because someone asked me. I said, "Do not believe I did not pull a gun on Axl Rose. I had a gun in my pocket and would have, but I didn't." And Lars swears I did. So, but otherwise, he's cool. But there's not that many jerks. You asked about the jerks.
Yeah.
There's not that many.
I think I've only met the real dickhead I met was Dave Mustaine. He was the only real a-hole. The coolest guy, I tell you, one of the coolest guys was Ronnie James Dio. God rest his soul.
Really?
Oh, Ronnie was.
We never got that close.
Really?
No.
We told jokes till 4:00 in the morning every time he came into town.
Well, you got to understand, Ronnie was like second or later generation of the heavy metal.
Right.
See, to me, the first heavy metal was Zeppelin.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And then you had Deep Purple, and then Black
Jimi
Sabbath.
Hendrix.
You know, well, Hendrix wasn't heavy metal.
You don't know?
No.
I put him in that category because he
Then
was
again,
he shredded.
like we said, you have a right to your opinion. But no, Hendrix was
Loved it.
he was only, don't forget, he only started in late 67.
I was gonna say 67,
68,
yeah, 'cause-
and he died in 70.
Right.
But no, he wasn't heavy metal. He was the greatest guitar showman rock
Oh,
and roll
absolutely.
ever lived.
Absolutely.
And Clapton was the greatest technician.
Uh-huh.
But
I agree with that too.
you'll find the interview will go a lot better if you keep agreeing.
If I disagree, okay, I'll just nod my head like this.
No, but like I say, most of the guys are pretty good. I mean, Jimmy was a great guy until he got into heroin, which was late '68.
So it was before Woodstock. Did he get
Yeah,
into-
yeah. In fact, September 1st, '68, we had Hendrix and Vanilla Fudge at Red Rocks.
Right.
And we were still best of friends. And by the time we had Denver Pop Festival in June '69, he barely recognized me because he was so fucked up on heroin. Oh, can you say that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And the fact was that was the last appearance ever of the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Noel and Mitch could not put up with him anymore, so then he went on his own.
Right.
Band of Gypsies, Jimi
Sure.
Hendrix was all like that. You see, I've been really lucky. I had the first appearance in North America of Led Zeppelin, December 26, '68. The last appearance of the Experience, and one of Janis's last appearances.
I have something for you, and I forgot to bring it. Damn it! I got a little sticker that I found. It came out about 10 years ago, of Janis Joplin. I was going to let you have one, but I'll call you and I'll drop it off to you. It's
I mean, if you're privileged enough to see her sing Ball and Chain at Monterey Pop, you've seen the greatest female vocal performance in the history of our business.
right. Who would you put in Janis's category? Nobody?
Nobody.
No.
I mean,
Stevie Nicks? Nobody like that?
No, you mean Stevie Nicks when she could see?
When she gets
No, Stevie's. Come on, Barry, settle down. I mean, you had.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
But Stevie just did way too much blow.
Oh yeah.
But there was Grace Slick was good.
Grace Slick, yeah.
But
Boy George.
Mama Cass. Mama Cass was great.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
God.
Mama Cass has got to be in that category.
Mama,
right?
no.
No.
Janice tore your heart out, man, when she sang. She was the mama.
She was Mama.
She was the mama. Mama Cass. Hey, the best harmonies ever. You take Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Beach Boys, they can't touch the Mamas and Papas.
Oh, no, God, no.
Mamas and Papas is the greatest.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you remember I used to get asked that question, if you had one album to take on the desert island. I said, well, would they have a record player? And then once I understood they did, it was the Mamas and Papas 30 golden hits. I mean,
California Dreamin', one of the greatest songs
my
ever
God.
written.
12:30, you know, do you ever hear that song? I Call Your Name. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were just, people don't know.
So that'd be the one album you would take with you to a desert?
Mamas and Papas 30 great.
I would take Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
That was always great.
Great album.
Bob Seger's Stranger in Town.
Yeah.
A High
Guns N'
Tide.
Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, the last great album, I think, was that
Yeah,
one.
oh, yeah, yeah.
The High Tide and Green Grass, the Rolling Stones' greatest hits.
Yeah. Beatles, Abbey Road.
Well, Sgt. Pepper. Man.
Sgt. Pepper?
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper?
But I think just for my own enjoyment, it would be the Mamas and Papas.
Where were you when Mama Cass died?
Probably sitting in front of my television. I don't know. But I did go to see Mama Cass when she was playing Mr. Kelly's in Chicago. It was the night that's gone now. And I said, she knew who I was. I had never done the Mamas and Papas. But I was good friends with Lou Adler. You know who Lou Adler is?
Yeah.
He's the fellow who sits next to Jack Nicholson at the Laker
Right,
game.
yeah.
With a funny hat. No one knows it. But he had old records, Mamas and Papas. He produced Monterey Pop. And I went and so I said, I would promote a tour for nothing if you'd get back with the group. She says, me? Play with those meatheads again? She broke my heart. I mean, that was the greatest. But then she passed away.
Yeah.
And as so many have.
Where were you when Lennon was shot?
Lennon was shot about 12 blocks away.
That's right. You told that story last time you were here.
Yeah.
For those who don't remember it, tell that story real quick once again. And
That's
we'll
a
get to
long
some
story,
Cass.
man.
It's okay. We got time.
All right.
We got time for you, Barry, all the time.
I flew to Paris to meet with Keith Richards in 1980 to help plan the 1981 Stones tour. And the reason I flew to see Keith, he got tired of Mick doing all the business. Because to me, Mick was the mouth and the brains, and Keith was always the guts and the heart.
The heart, right.
So Keith says, we'll do a lot of the business, fly over there. So I arrived in Paris on a Saturday morning, and they had reservations for me at the Plaza Anthonet Hotel. And I get there, and I call his office, and I said, I'm here. What time will we meet? And the lady says, I'm sorry, Keith just flew to New York. And I said, wait a minute, I just flew over here to meet Keith, and he flew to New York. This is not the day I thought he was the coolest.
I thought he was a dick about this point, right?
So I flew back on Sunday to New York and stayed at the hotel, which is no longer there. It was called the Navarro, turned into the Ritz-Carlton, which is on 59th Street and Central Park, and 59th Street and Central Park. I believe the Dakota is on 74th, right? And Central Park West, something like that.
Something like that.
So it was about 15 blocks from where John lived. So the next day, see, Keith doesn't live like you and I. He gets up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm supposed to go see him. I call him 10-something. And I say, hey, Keith, what time do you want to get together? He says, Barry, hold on. The other phone is ringing. He comes back on the phone and says, Barry, I got to go. John's been killed. And he didn't say who, but I knew.
Yeah, oh, sure.
So then I go back to watching Monday Night Football, and there's a crawler comes across the bottom, and Howard Cosell, it's official, John Lennon is dead. So, you wanted to know where I was when John got shot. That's where I was. I was in a hotel about 15 blocks away. The rest of the story is great, but I don't know if they want to hear it again.
Well, we got some new faces since last time.
Okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no Keith. And I'm waiting for him to call me. In fact, I think the nicest thing that Yoko ever did was not have a public funeral for John, because that would have been a circus.
Oh.
That would have been a circus. So I called Keith on Thursday about 10. And he's staying at Patty Hansen's apartment, who's the model. He later married Patty. And he says, why don't you come over at midnight? So, you know, I was the kind of guy who got up every day, did business. Keith didn't, so I was kind of tired. I go over to the apartment, Patty Hansen sitting there, beautiful lady. with Jane Rose from Rolling Stone Records and Keith. And they're playing jacks. and they said, sit down.
That's the rock and roll lifestyle right there, playing jacks with your future wife.
So I sit there.
Awesome.
I sit down. I'm not playing, but I watch. And then they stop about 1:45, and Patty says, we're all hungry. So she makes shepherd's pie, not from scratch, and they all eat. So it's about 2:45 in the morning. I can't see straight, Axl. And Keith says, okay, let's go talk some business. I say, Keith, I appreciate, I can't do it. I'm too tired. So he takes this thing out, this red cone type thing, and he starts grinding, and out comes all this white powder. And I said, Keith, that's not going to work. We did this in '73 when we were in Hawaii with the Stones, and it didn't have any effect on me. That's the first time I'd ever done or seen cocaine. 73. So he says, just shut up and do that. So I do it, and all of a sudden, whoa.
It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, I mean, wow, you know? And we start talking about it, and I get back to the room at 6:45, Denver time. I mean, New York time. And I start calling everybody in my office. It's 4:45 in Denver. I said, listen, I was just with Keith. We're going to get this. I'm going to do this. We're going to do that. And people say, Barry, it's 4:45. I don't care. And I went out to Newark Airport at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I could have flown home without the plane. I don't know what.
Speaking of rental.
I don't know what the fuck he gave me, man. But let's get some more of it. And he had it, as it turns out, he had his own prescription for, what do they call it? Pharmaceutical grade cocaine.
Wow.
And that's, I mean, because I said, don't do this. I said, come on, Keith. He said, shut up and do this. Wow.
Keith Richards. You know, it's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, very
it
cool.
was great stuff.
Yeah, apparently. Well, very cool. What we're going to do now is we'll come back. We'll finish it up with Mr. Barry Fey. Let's take you back right now. Let's go out to Esovae. When we come back in, we'll wrap it up with Barry Fey. We'll do some captions, and we'll get out of here. Let's go out to Esovae right now. We'll wrap it up. All right.
Seriously, I watched too much Discovery Channel, and that's where the lyrics for that one came from. You know what the scorpions, you know what they do? It's kind of like the Black Widow spider. The female, like, lures in the male scorpion, and then she kills him pretty much after.
And she looks at me when she says that. That's a bad thing.
You're a Scorpio, aren't you?
Of course.
See?
This one's called Wake. This one we did, last time we were on the show, we did an acoustic version of this one. So this is the little more,
Plugged in.
yeah, plugged in version.
Walk around the land again before the morning tide comes in, and I break the shells beneath my feet. The escape has been too easy. I will be the one who understands. You will be the ones who hold my hand. The earth I will shelter from the pain. No more pain. Please watch my humility and the infliction of pain upon me. I will be the one who understands. You will be the ones who hold my hand. The earth I was sheltered from again. No more pain. No more pain. No more. No more pain.
Thank you.
There it is. There it is. Okay, we're on TV. Anything else you'd like to say,
Wow,
Barry?
I look
before-
good, huh?
We look good, don't
Yeah.
we? We look good for. What did you think about that monologue?
Well, made me kind of sad because you're talking about 40.
How old are you now? If you don't mind, if you don't answer if you don't want to. How old are you now? Captions. Captions.
I mean, you got Facebook, go look it up, man.
Okay.
No, I-
71?
What are you, a Facebook expert or something?
He's got way too much free time on his hands. He's like-
I know, I mean, I shouldn't say, I know I don't look it, but I act 11, so it's really hard for
Well,
people
that's what I
to
said in my
tell.
monologue. I'm 15 years younger. I feel like I'm 25.
Uh,
you know.
But you have different experiences. I don't drink, so I never went
Right.
to
I
bars.
don't drink either.
Then what do you go to bars for?
I go for material purposes only.
Oh, educational.
I've never had a drink. I've never had a drink. I've never had a drug, and I've never smoked a cigarette in my entire life.
I have never had a drink. I've never smoked a cigarette.
Yeah, they're impressed with that.
I can't say I never had a drug because
You just talked about it.
told you. But I don't. I've done drugs 3 times in my life,
Yeah.
and over a long time,
Right.
had no effect. But I thought your monologue was right on, I guess. But I don't like to think of age like that. It's like I told you when I did my heart procedure
Right.
on New Year's Eve. The doctor, I had a choice of doing open heart surgery, which would have taken pain and rehab and all that. And I said, no, it was an experimental stent they could do. The government let them do it. And I said to the doctor, go ahead and do it because I ain't missed nothing. And that's how I feel. I mean, God, if I go, I've done it, seen it.
Right.
I went to do a concert in Sarajevo, Bogota, Colombia. I've met people, done things, not to be jaded, but I really have.
Right.
There's no place in the world I want to go that I haven't been.
Right.
So I was a little melancholy listening to your,
Right.
not even your choice of foul words, but no, about the whole thought of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think of it that way because I'll tell you, this birthday was so great, and I hate coming back because of the things people wrote. And if you can have an impact like that
Oh yeah.
on people's lives, man, that's all you can grow up wanting to do. Because you can own the Acme Nut and Bolt Company or this company and that company, and no one cares.
Right.
Because if you're not doing it, someone else is doing it.
Right.
If you can really have an effect on your environment, hopefully for better.
Exactly.
I mean, Hitler had an effect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
We
if
saw how that turned out.
If you can make people's lives a little happier and affect, I mean, I changed this city.
Yes, you did. Absolutely right.
And to me, that's really important. So I told him, whatever happens, happens. We got a few minutes left.
I got about 3 minutes. I got to do some captions. We'll have you back on again another time.
No,
Another
we
time.
won't. You never start on time. No. No, but let me just tell you this
Go
quick
ahead.
story.
Go ahead.
Ever hear about the McLaughlin Report?
Yeah.
I watch it every Friday night on PBS. I watch it so I'll know what to think for the next week. I kind of condense everything they say. But they gave a report last night, and it really touched me. The MetLife, they did a big report since the recession. And they said America has changed. Maybe this is the silver lining in that terrible cloud that we're all going through of unemployment and this.
Yeah.
They said that the American psyche has changed from the bigger house and the better car and the bigger diamond ring. And it's gone to family and friends and relationships. And I just thought that was wonderful.
That's very cool.
It really was wonderful. If that's,
Exactly.
if that's what we're doing, that's a silver cloud.
Yeah, very cool.
And that's the sermon for today.
Pastor Barry has spoken. All right, captions. If you have a caption, I got to rip through these. If you have a caption, send them to captions.conezone at, gmail.com. If I read your caption on the air, I will send you out one of my new CDs. I don't have one up here, but trust me, I'll autograph a new CD.
I'll show you this one.
There it is. All right. Let the bidding start. And I'll send you out one of my new CDs called Open 24/7 if I read your caption on the air. So without further ado, let's get into some captions. Mel Gibson's new slogan for the battered women's shelter, "Bitches Get Stitches," was rejected earlier this week. Okay. I hope we don't have any Obama fans in the house. Look, Daddy, I'm pretending to be Jesus Christ, just like you pretend to be God every day. Wow. Okay, here we go. Moving along. Charlotte Wambash likes her bread like she likes her men. White, limp, and on sale. All right. Because of the new current job market, newly graduated Denver University law student Jamie Madison trains for her realistic career. She'll be starting in a couple of weeks.
What is it?
We couldn't see the monitor? All right, let's see if we can see this one. Warning at home. I got two for this one. Yes, I'll take the number 7 combo meal with a Sprite and a big floppy McTit to go. That'll be all. Or Chiquita misunderstood me when I asked for a chocolate cone to go with my combo meal.
Dude,
Oh, shit.
her leg is bigger than you.
Where am I here? Hi, I am Charlie the Town Drunk.
Hey, this ain't the Today Show.
Hi, I'm Charlie the Town Drunk. And you are? And finally, put the kids to bed. And finally, what?
Zoom out. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Long cast.
And finally, Regina, my IHOP waitress, misunderstood me when I asked her to bring me her best pancakes. I want to thank Linda McQuaid, hot as usual. I want to thank the greatest concert promoter ever on the planet, Mr. Barry Fey.
Hot as usual.
Hot as usual. That's the show next week, Mr. Brandon Crystal. We're out.